Good morning guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. Today's a pretty exciting day because we're heading down to Clinkard Cars, which is located pretty close to my house. I'd never heard of them before, but it turns out they are a second-hand performance car specialist. On their website they've got some pretty interesting things listed, namely a Huracan Performante in a Rancho Borealis, which is that lovely orange colour, in addition to an AMG GTS, a C63. They have other stuff like Bentleys, and I think they've got a Porsche GT3 down there, maybe a Ferrari 430 Scuderia, I believe, as well as it might be the Speciale, and a Mustang 5 litres. There's a few exciting cars down there that I haven't actually seen, and I didn't know it was so close, so I actually plan on taking a look down there and seeing what they've got. Other than that, there's not a lot else lined up for the day, but it should be pretty exciting. So let's go take a look at those awesome cars. First things first though, I do want to talk about obviously my 2018 goals, which I mentioned a couple of vlogs back. I want to show you sort of what I'm going to do diet-wise in order to get my body fat down and try and maintain as much muscle mass as possible. So let's get breakfast. See, the trouble is with me is I love hearty, greasy foods. So I love stuff like pork pies, steak, burgers, and all the really, really saturated, high-carb, low-protein, unhealthy stuff, which is the least good stuff for your physique. Well, what you want to do is you want to eat stuff like whey protein, chicken breast, high complex carbohydrates like oats, sweet potatoes, rice, all that sort of horrible stuff I really don't enjoy. And a lot of people actually enjoy taking supplements like the whey protein and protein cookies and stuff, and I think they all taste like bum. I've tried loads of different brands. Personally, I don't enjoy any of them, I'm not even going to lie. But if you want to get your body fat down and get a good physique and try and get a bit leaner, it's what you've got to do, unfortunately. There's no easy way around it. And it's what I'm going to be doing for the next few months, trying to just live on complex carbs, complex proteins, keep my saturated fats low, my unsaturated fat high, and just trying to keep my carbs as complex as possible with as little sugar intake as it is. It is as simple as that. And monitoring your macros as well. You basically just got to monitor your 3 macronutrients and balance them with what you should be at your age, height and weight. So at the weight I am at the moment, that shouldn't be a problem. So let's go and weigh myself, shall we? So looking at a macro calculator, my macros, considering I weigh 16 stone, age 21, at 5'11", I'm actually closer to 6 foot, but I think I'm probably going to go a little bit on the safer side as my objective is to lose weight. My maintenance is 202 grams of protein, 84 grams of fat, 396 grams of carbs, which seems awfully high to me, with a total caloric intake of 3,150 calories. So that's quite a lot, especially if you're eating lean. I'm not going to eat anywhere near that. That's to maintain my current mass. So that would be to consider me doing exercise 6 days a week, which is moderate to moderate to heavy intensity, 6 days a week, as well as being moderately active with how far I walk everywhere, and just general day-to-day living. Because you can factor in 100 calories of cardio every day, plus or minus 10%, as well as 200 to 300 calories a day for walking. So that, all of it factored in, plus my base metabolic rate of what I burn normally, adds up to about 3,150 calories. But my objective is to lose weight, so we're going to go slightly below that with about a 20% decrease, because the objective is to keep my protein high and probably slightly lower on those carbs. The main reason for that is because you want to maintain as much muscle mass as possible while losing weight. It's easy to lose weight, anyone can just do it, be in a calorie deficit and lose weight, but that is not the objective. My objective is to lose body fat whilst maintaining, if not possibly gaining, as much muscle as possible. Obviously, when you're in a caloric deficit, you're in a catabolic state, meaning you can't put muscle mass on. In general, unless you're on either on steroids or you've just started training and your body's not used to the weight intensity. So that's they're the only 2 exceptions to that rule, and I'm probably going to just try and maintain as much muscle mass as possible and maintain my current strength, and that's how I'm going to measure that, my strength, so I make sure my lifts are the same in comparison with how heavy I am and what my body's looking like. In all honesty, the only way you can really measure body fat is by having one of those tests done where they do all the caliper clips and do an x-ray of your external tissues. I'm not going to bother with that. To be honest, just look by eye. You can tell I'm about 30 to 35%, and you can tell when people are around 10%, and lower than that's nearly impossible to achieve naturally anyway. So we're going to try and get around to the 10 to 15% mark, and we're just going to do it by eye and make sure I lose as little weight as possible while trying to lose as much body fat as possible. So one thing I notice every time I visit my gran in the nursing home, which you don't want to go into by the way, even I don't, as horrible as that sounds, there's this awesome car park next door. So it's the new 2015 model Mustang 5.0 GT, so it's the 5 litre V8, which is absolutely slammed to the ground. And I'll give a shout out to his Instagram, he's got it on stickers on the side, but I just want to give you guys a look at this car, because every time I drive by it, I'm insanely jealous. Now, believe it or not, for you American viewers out there, but Mustang 5.0 GTs, and indeed Mustangs in general, are pretty rare over here. Because of the requirement of having better MPGs for Europe, because of the fact that fuel's so much more expensive, you never see a Mustang around here. So that's actually why I'm always pretty surprised when I see it there. They're a pretty rare car in England. I mean, not as rare as Corvettes and Chevys and stuff, but they're still pretty damn rare. So the book I'm reading at the moment is called Ready Player One. It is fantastic, and the reason I'd recommend reading it now is because it's being made into a movie by Steven Spielberg, and when that happens, the book's going to kind of be obsolete. When you refer to Ready Player One, everyone's going to assume you're talking about the film. But read it while you can, because in 2018 the film's coming out, and I'm super excited for that. The book's sort of about an apocalyptic future where everyone lives in virtual reality, and there's a hidden Easter egg, which is like the true way of getting wealth in the Oasis, or in the virtual reality, and it's actually pretty sick. It's pretty cool. I can't say I have a lot of empathy for the character because he's a bit wet, but it's still pretty good. It's a pretty good book, and it's quite an interesting concept on what the world's going to be like in 30 or 40 years time. So I have arrived at Clincar Performance Cars. It's a very small lot in an actual trading estate by the looks of it. It's a little smaller than I was hoping, but there are some other cars being cleaned over there, but I can't see any of the really expensive cars at the moment. Here we have a C63, probably the only car there that's within my price bracket, £30,000. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and it's a really nice spec actually. I actually really like that. It's a saloon, and I really like that, it's nice. 6.3 litre V8, rear wheel drive, you're going to have a lot of fun with that. There's a few other exciting cars in there. I think there's one of the M4, the limited edition M4s, like the racing packs in there. There's also an Aston Martin, I think it's a Vantage GT car, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to go and have a look. But I can't see the Lamborghini Huracan Puffmanti. So it's got that lovely tyre-y smell in here that you always get in all nice car dealerships. All these cars are incredibly new. They've all got very few mileage on them. I'd say the average mileage in the rooms, 1,000 or 2,000 miles. M4 DTM Championship Edition, 1 of 200. I thought it was a limited edition. So that is very nice. A lot of carbon fibre on it, and a big wing on the back, nearly the width of the entire bodywork, which is pretty cool. Or, I was not expecting to see one of these here. I thought this was a GTS, but I've just spotted the wing on the back. This is an AMG GTR. Now, this is the new Mercedes AMG. I believe it's a 4 litre V8. Yeah, 4 litre V8. I think it's turbocharged. Bi-turbo, yeah, so 2 turbochargers and a 4 litre V8. Rear wheel drive. These things sound absolutely epic. Love these pieces, but again, way out of my price range. I think the only car in here that's pretty much within my price range is pretty much the C63 over there at the moment. Porsche 911 3.8 991 Turbo S, 114,000. That is pretty cool as well. There is a Speciale and a Porsche 911 GT3 over in the other lot. So I'm going to go and take a look at those in a minute because they look pretty awesome as well. Land Rover, Range Rover Velar. Is this the new one? I think it is. Oh, that is awesome. That is really cool. So that is the new Range Rover Velar, which is pretty nice. 17 plate. Very nice indeed. Looks very modern and futuristic. This is probably, I don't know which one I prefer. The AMG GTR is probably the gem of the showroom, in conjunction with this awesome Aston Martin Vantage 4.7. Look at that. That is a very nice spec. Big aggressive wing on the back, racing stripes, and more carbon fibre than you would ever need in your life. It is absolutely gorgeous. But the car that I'm most interested in the room, from my own personal perspective, is this C63 AMG. So this one here is actually a pretty good price. It is a 2014 and it's only got 20,000 miles on the clock. So for 30,000, you're going to be looking at a few thousand in depreciation over a year or so of ownership. But for that amount of money, the running costs aren't astronomical. You're going to burn through those rear tyres pretty quick, and you're going to find out that the annual tax is £525, and insuring me on a 6.3 litre V8 at 21 would also be pretty eye-watering, I'd imagine. but that is more within my price range. But personally, I think that if I'm looking at that sort of money, I should probably go a little bit up and get an older Nissan GTR. So over in this bit is where they actually do the PPF, paint protection, and keep the cars clean prior to selling them, or maybe upon request of buying them. But it's a pretty cool place. Over here you have a convertible Ferrari 430, which is in very good nick. A 5-litre Mustang GT, as we saw earlier in the vlog. These things are awesome. I think it looks better in red personally, but to be honest, you can't really beat the standard of a 5-litre V8 anyway. And more impressively here, we have a 458 Speciale. Now, usually 458s have that triple exhaust, but the Speciale doesn't. It has two much wider exhaust pipes that I think look a lot better than the standard one, as you can see down there. We also have a Porsche GT3, not quite as cool as the GT3 RS I chased through China Sword the other day, but it's still a pretty sweet car nonetheless. So, massive thank you to the guys at Clean Card for showing me through their stock and even their PPF room where they were cleaning the cars off and putting paint protection film on them. That was awesome. There's some pretty special cars there, and definitely one I'd consider buying, which is a C63, although it won't be for a few months yet until I'm finished with the TT. So I quite like the idea of a C63. The only thing is, I really like, you know, raw 0 to 60 is something that genuinely really excites me, and I feel with the C63 it's got too much power to put down for a two-wheel drive, and I feel like I'd also burn through tyres far too quick doing burnouts in the C63. Whoa. Which would be very, very difficult, because I don't want to pay too much for tyres. I think the upkeep on a C63 is a little bit too expensive to justify the fact that it's only a little bit cheaper to purchase than a Nissan GTR or an older one like the original R35s. In the meantime, let's go and pick up Beth, because she's got to have lunch and she's off for the day, and I believe there's just about enough content there to keep you guys happy on the car side of stuff, because there's not a lot else I can do in the middle of January in England where it's nearly 0 degrees and my hands feel like they're going to fall off.
I'm so sorry. Literally. You're really angry with me. No, you can't do me.
No, I'm not, I'm not.
I'm so nearly crying. I was really stressed out. I thought you were going to be hating me.
GoPro's on. It's going in the vlog. I'm not a horrible person. I don't know why she'd be crying over like I'm going to beat her up or something. I might get shirty and make her pay for lunch, but that's about as far as it'll go. That is the end of the video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. Also, if you want to be notified of when my new videos come up, there's a little bell icon you can click which will let you know when new content comes out. I'm uploading a new video every week, or trying to at least, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys very soon with more content, and always remember, take it easy.